Hello, Busters. As always, it's a great day to be a Buster. Today's no exception. I want to welcome you back to our next edition of President's Desk. Hopefully, you've had a chance to watch last week's edition with Chief Dozier. This week, I'm honored to be able to have Kurt Peterson with me, who's the director of the Student Support Services Program. So, Kurt, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. Nice to be here.
Maybe, Kurt, just start by talking to us a little bit about, your background, what's led you into your advocacy work with students, and what led you here to Garden City.
Sure. I was actually born in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I kind of lived all over the Midwest for several years until our family moved to Lansing, Michigan when I was in middle school, and so I went there for middle school and high school, and graduated and went to college at North Park College in Chicago. It's now North Park University, and my bachelor's degree is actually in mathematics, which is different and not quite related to my current full-time job. But after I graduated from college, I worked for Kansas Department of Social and Rehabilitation Services. That's now Department of Children and Families. And I worked there for 11 years. And in the last year, a friend of mine that worked there is actually married to Leanne Curtis, who was the director of the TRIO programs at that time. And so I applied for the vacancy in Talent Search, and they offered me the job. So I started that, and I worked in Talent Search for 6 years. And in that last year that I worked for Talent Search, I was working on my master's degree through Friends University. And so I finished that in that last year working for Talent Search. And then the vacancy came in Student Support Services, and I applied for that and was offered that position. So I've been working for Student Support Services as an advisor for 10 years, and then the last 3 as the director of the program.
But you've been a long-standing employee here at the college, and have really moved through different programs and different aspects of working with the TRIO programs. But maybe talk a little bit there, Kurt, just about what you view as the best thing about working at Garden City Community College, and then with that there, maybe what's one thing that maybe you're the most proud of?
One thing that I like about Garden City Community College is I think the college as an institution, the administration, the trustees, I think they do a lot to support us as employees. I think we get at a minimum adequate training, but probably more than adequate training. Every time I've requested training, I've always been able to get the training I've requested. As a TRIO employee, there's TRIO-specific training that we go to. Then the college has advising training that we go to that's very good and very relevant to how we do our jobs. So and the benefits, certain benefits about working for the college are very, very generous, and I appreciate that. What I am proud of our students, very proud of our students. The investments that we've made in our students, in student support services, and investments by the faculty, staff, administration. We've done well enough with our students that they've gone on to do wonderful things. We've got doctors, veterinarians, engineers, teachers, and people of other professions that have gone through Garden City Community College through the TRIO Student Support Services program, and now they're very successful individuals, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud, the people that I work with in the Student Support Services program are highly qualified. They're very good at the jobs that they do individually. Our tutors, tutoring is a big element of our program because we want them to get the best grades possible. And our tutors are first-generation students themselves, so it makes it easier for the students that they're helping to relate to them. So I think that makes our tutoring real effective, but I'm very proud of that.
The one thing we'd be remiss without talking about is there's some exciting news that you recently had there, particular to your program, to where your grant was renewed for 5 more years at a total of just over $1.6 million.
Right, that's right, Dr. Rita.
That's tremendous. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rita. Yeah. Yes, that's very exciting. We're all very happy about that. So this was my first proposal that I worked on in this role, but I want to again emphasize that it wasn't something that I've done myself. This is something that my fellow SSS coworkers helped me do, and I had a lot of support from Colin Lamb as my supervisor, and I know you Dr. Reed, have done things to support that, and I'm very proud of the institution because there's been so many people and the faculty, staff, administration that have done things to make this happen. So it wasn't like this is something that Kurt did. This is something that we did as a team project, and we were successful. So I'm very proud.
Well, maybe, I guess, kind of on that route there, as we're talking about student support services and the program and the fact that the grant's been renewed for 5 more years, for those that may not know anything about student support services, or maybe those that are unfamiliar with it, talk to us just a little bit about, what are the criteria, how do you qualify, how many students do you work with there, and just kind of an overview on the program.
Certainly. TRIO Student Support Services serves 200 students on our campus. We work with students that plan to be at Garden City Community College each semester until they graduate with their associate degree and transfer to a 4-year school to continue work on their bachelor's degree. And all that with summers being optional. As I mentioned before, tutoring is a big part of our program. That's part of the support and student support services. So if we have a student who has a C or a lower grade in any class, we want them to get some kind of tutoring. So that's a big element. Other parts of services include help with federal financial aid, help applying for scholarships, help with enrollment for upcoming semesters, and help with the transfer process. We are in our offices 8 to 4:30 so that if students have questions about anything to do with getting through school and being successful with school, they can come and see us. Sometimes we'll set appointments when we know that they're coming to see us to work on their federal financial aid application, their FAFSA, or if there's something else specific they want to work on, we'll schedule appointments. But they don't always have to have appointments. We do drop in advising as well. So, but anyway, our goal is to help them be successful here, graduate, and then move on to the 4-year school. That's basically what we're looking for. Students should be first generation, meaning that neither parent has a bachelor's degree, and there's an income eligibility criteria because of the demographics of our community. It's important to know that students should be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident to meet the eligibility requirements, but basically they should be someone that's going to be here each semester till they graduate and transfer to a 4-year school. And it's important to know also that that they have to apply and be accepted. We serve the 200 students that apply and are accepted to our program. So, and our offices are in the library, so folks can come over and talk to us if they have questions.
With some of our Buster students that are watching this and learning a little bit more about the services and what Student Support Services has in mind there for them, what would be a piece of advice or some sage wisdom that you have there for students at Garden City Community College to help them, be successful at Garden City Community College?
Well, I would tell students to come and talk to us about our program, and we can figure out if they're eligible. There's an application process, and we can help them go through that process. And it's very easy. It's a 1-page application, and then we need to get copies of the tax return for the latest tax year. So we have to do that, but we want students to come and visit with us to get some information. Student Support Services can do a lot to help students be successful on our campus. Their commitment to us is very low. We have to have them come and see us to do something called a personal success plan once a semester, and then we have them come back and do a recheck later in the semester to see how things are going, see how classes are going. But there's a lot of workshops that students can attend, like financial literacy workshop where they can get information about spending money and how to make good decisions about spending money. But yeah, I just would tell students to come and talk to us. We can meet students and we can meet instructors, faculty, staff, people in their offices. If we can make an arrangement to visit a classroom that doesn't violate the COVID precautions, we can come to a classroom and visit. We can get in on Zoom meetings. So we're happy to do that. But first, any student that's looking at being here till they graduate and then transfer to 4-year school should really consider our program.
So as the director of Student Support Services, I guess maybe just kind of, trying to bring things, to a wrap up here. What types of, of enhancements or improvements? Is there anything new that is going to be expected of student support services as we go forward there that we can be anticipating?
Oh, thank you for asking that, Dr. Ruda. One thing that we're starting to do with students is use something called virtual job shadow. We get a lot of students that come and they declare themselves as business or maybe pre-med, but they haven't had exposure to what different opportunities are within the medical field or within the business field. And using something like Virtual Job Shadow, it's an online tool that students can use where they watch videos of people doing different types of careers, and they can get a bird's eye view of what happens in different careers. We have tutor.com that I mentioned before, an online tutoring service that students can use. What we're trying to do is to have evaluations of each of our activities and get feedback from students as to what they feel is something that works well for them and something that's helpful for them, so that we can kind of tailor those services so that we are truly meeting their needs and meeting students where they're at.
I've been here for 21 years there and been around the program there, but there's a lot of things that I've learned just from a lot of the future enhancements and the things that you're doing to continually improve the services you provide. So look forward to a successful 5-year renewal on your grant cycle. Congratulations on that again.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ruda.
Great to be able to have you here today.
Thank you, Dr. Ruda. I'm honored to be here.